What's going on, guys? Tony Maritato here, and WebPT just published a new blog post, 4 problems with physical therapy and marketing. So in today's video, I want to discuss the 4 problems and just give my 2 cents on each of the topics. So WebPT is one of the largest, if not the largest, EMR companies started by a physical therapist, and they dominate the market. But this isn't a plug for them. I don't even work with them. I don't use them. What I want to do is I want to talk about the 4 problems they've identified in physical therapy marketing, because I think these are real problems. So problem number 1, patients view physical therapy as too much work for too little immediate reward. And that is 100% true. You know, we're looking and we're talking about the general population, right? We're not talking about specific niches, which we need to, but generally speaking, specifically adults, they look at physical therapy, they look at the time invested, the financial commitment, and they're like, this is crazy. I've been coming for treatments for months, for weeks, for years, and I don't feel any better. And I think it's interesting because it depends on what you're looking at, right? So I had this conversation with a patient yesterday, literally yesterday morning. This particular individual has been dealing with some pretty severe spinal stenosis. His knee has buckled 3 times. He's fallen completely to the ground. He's an active, otherwise healthy adult male in his late 70s. He's fully, ambulatory, no assisted devices, doing amazingly well in the community. And I said, look, yes, you've been coming for a couple weeks. Yes, we've done, I think it was 8 sessions at this point. But something that you need to understand is, we're not measuring your success by the elimination of your pain. That's not what I do. I don't eliminate pain in my clinic. We acknowledge pain. We identify potential contributing factors to pain, but I don't treat pain. I treat function. And so look at the fact that you came in here and you couldn't do 30 seconds of continuous walking on the elliptical, and now you're up to 3 minutes with a goal of 10 minutes. You came in here and you couldn't stand from that chair without using maximum assist from both arms, and now you just did it without touching the seat. You are making functional gains. Yes, your hip continues to hurt. I acknowledge that and I understand that's frustrating. But I can't make changes in that, and we can't measure those changes. But what I can do is I can help you walk across the room without falling. I can help you get off the floor if you do fall. I can teach you strategies and compensations to live a more fulfilling life so that you don't miss the next family vacation. So you don't have to quit doing the recreational activities that you enjoy. And so if we change the narrative from, I'm a physical therapist that provides pain relief, to, look, you brushed your teeth yesterday. You brushed your teeth today. You're probably going to brush your teeth again tomorrow. This is not something, it's not a one and done deal. So let's not try to measure success and progress in a way that might take a calendar instead of a stopwatch. Let's look for the easy measurements that you can genuinely see progress that pushes you forward. And I think if we change the mindset, change the framework of how we measure progress, we can help those individuals achieve their goals. The book Atomic Habits is amazing for one principle, and it's don't focus on the goal. Like, how many times have you set a goal for yourself, you achieve that goal, and you're like, all right, now what? What do I do now? No, the joy, the pleasure is in the process. It's in the little micro steps that get to the goal. So let's make those a bigger part of what we focus on. Okay, item number 2. Physicians and patients don't fully understand what we do. And I would say therapists don't fully understand what we do, right? We all went through school pretty much learning the same stuff. And I always say that I learned how to treat injuries in school. I haven't seen an injury in my clinic short of post-surgical rehabilitation. I haven't seen a true injury in like 4 years. There was a guy who fell off a ladder, fractured a femur and a humerus 4 years ago. That was probably the last injury I've seen in my clinic. Most of what I do is treating lifestyle pathology, right? You sit too much, you eat the wrong food, you have too many stressors without anything to balance that, you don't sleep well. Those are the things that I'm trying to manage and help individuals learn how to treat for themselves. I'm trying to change lives. I'm not trying to rehab a shoulder. And so when somebody comes referred to physical therapy, in their mind, they're either thinking, well, I'm going to lay on a plinth and do 3 sets of 10 straight leg raise, or they're thinking, I'm going to lay on my stomach and get a back rub. But they don't really understand what it is that we're actually trying to do. And so changing the narrative, once again, the messaging, that's why marketing is just so powerful. So that when a person comes in, here's the question I want you to think about for the next 3 new patients you receive. Is that person coming to you expecting you to fix them, or is that person coming to you expecting to learn how to fix themselves? If they're coming with the mindset that they're going to learn how to fix themselves, pat yourself on the back, you did a great job. Your marketing message is dead on. If they're coming to you with the idea that you're going to fix them, that you're gonna wave a magic wand and make them better, we failed. We failed them, we failed ourselves, we've failed the profession. So that messaging is just so important, and as therapists, communication is 90% of what we do. Okay, number three. Prescription requirements create a mental and financial barrier. Totally true. Once again, if you're trying to sell physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech language pathology, you're trying to sell something that in the mind of the patient is complicated. I don't want to do that. I have to get a referral. I have to go to my doctor. They have to write a prescription. I have to make sure my insurance covers it. Barrier after barrier after barrier. Instead, if you're like, hey, I acknowledge you have low back pain, but you know what? You're also carrying more weight on your body than you need. You also haven't exercised in the last 5 years. You're also not sleeping well, not eating well. You're not spending time taking care of yourself because you're busy taking care of everybody else. This is a lifestyle program, right? Nobody goes to a personal trainer expecting insurance to cover it. Nobody goes to learn healthy eating habits expecting insurance to cover it. So when they're coming to you, at least in my niche of outpatient orthopedic, adult, and geriatric, I don't want them coming to me thinking, okay, this is an insurance covered program, I'm going to get what insurance pays. I want them coming to me seeking my advice, seeking the information I have to share, looking at me as a coach, not a healer. And I want them coming with the expectation that, hey, this is going to take work. I just spent the last 25 years doing the stuff that needed to be done. Now I'm going to spend the next 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years working on improving myself. You know, and I always share the story, like when we had kids, my oldest is 12 now. When I had kids, I pretty much quit everything. My main focus was work and kids, work and family. And so I went a decade without lifting a weight, without jogging a mile, without doing anything to take care of myself. And at some point around that 10-year mark, I looked in the mirror, I faced facts, I looked at the reality, and I was like, I cannot survive another 10 years living this lifestyle. And so I figured out a way to make a commitment, a promise to my family, myself, my wife. I'm going to be a better dad. I'm going to be a better husband if I feel better, if I'm stronger and healthier. And so that commitment, it wasn't an insurance covered service. It was a commitment and a promise to my family and the people I care about to say, hey, I'm going to take care of myself so I can be better prepared to fill my role in society and in this family. So a prescription, co-pays, co-insurance, deductibles, all of that stuff is foreign language to your ideal client. Understand what your client wants, speak to them directly, and then if you need to bring that stuff in later, go ahead. But don't put all of those barriers in front of your individual client. They just don't need it yet. And then finally, number 4, physical therapy is not financially lucrative for the big wigs. Now, we heard the story about ATI going public. You know, this goes back to basic understanding of business model. Like if you're a small independent operator, I'm a physical therapist. I treat patients. I'm going to go do an eval and patient follow-up later today. I operate 2 clinic locations. We're primarily in network and we do cash services on the side. Is it financially viable for me to take a business model from 1957 and try to introduce it into 2021? No, that's not a profitable model. I would even say business models from the 80s are not profitable today. But we have to understand the business we're in, right? When ATI goes public, they're going to get flooded with cash. They're going to have more cash than they know what to do with. And so it's going to be very easy to run on thin margins. I always say I operate 2 clinic locations. For me, if my goal is, you know, $100,000 a year, just arbitrary number, $100,000 a year. Well, if I have 1 operation, I need to generate, you know, $100,000 plus the cost of expenses. But if I have 10 clinics, each one just needs to make $10,000 for me to take that $100,000 out. If I have 100 clinics, I need $1,000 profit margin. So with scale, I don't need as much profit in each individual clinic location or whatever we're talking about. You're not running 100 clinic locations. You're running 1, maybe a couple. So you have to understand your business model. The better you understand that business model, the more profitable you will be. And one of my favorite business models, I shared another video, I'll try to link to it up here, is McDonald's, the McDonald's Corporation. Does McDonald's make its money selling hamburgers? No. McDonald's makes its money on real estate, on selling franchises, on supply chain. McDonald's makes its money 100 different ways. The fact that the franchisee ends up selling hamburgers, and my hunch is the hamburger is just a small component. I believe the stat was most of the profit comes from the milkshake, from the soda. So understand the business you're in, understand the profit model, and then leverage that to bring the ultimate patient care experience to the client. And in exchange, you'll have the financial success that you're looking for. So guys, this was a new kind of video for me. I hope the information was somewhat helpful. If it is, post a comment below. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go through some more WebPT blog posts because they produce a ton of content, but we don't all have time to read it. So at least this way you guys can pop on YouTube, listen to it on your way to work, and generate new ideas. You know, if I do nothing else with this channel, my goal is to help massage your brain into generating new ideas. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time.